In this video, I'm going to be unboxing, setting up, installing, printing, and reviewing the Epson SureColor F170. And we're going to get started right now. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another tutorial video. I really do hope that you guys enjoy this tutorial video for today, where we will be unboxing, then we are going to actually set up, we're going to install, and then we're going to print, and afterwards we're going to do a review on the Epson SureColor F170. Now, just to let you know, this printer is not mine, but someone saw our recent video where we actually converted the EquaTank 2760 from an inkjet printer into a sublimation printer, and they have asked me to do a review, unboxing, and to test print and to see how it is working. So I'm going to share this tutorial video with you guys who have the SureColor Epson F170. Hopefully, if you're interested in purchasing one of these, I'll leave the link down below where you can actually find one of these. And this is a sublimation printer. We are not going to be converting anything today because this is an actual sublimation printer. So let's dive down into unboxing it. Let's see what features it have. Let's see what it came with, and let's get started. So let us see what we do actually have in this box here, since we have just undo it. So firstly, we have, I can see we have the Epson SureColor F170 manual. This is a manual here you would get with your printer. So we have some instructions which we will follow. They have given us a big plastic wrap here. I'm guessing this is to wrap the printer from water or protection. I'm guessing, it could be wrong, or you can actually cover it up. We're going to put this aside and we're going to take out this printer. We have we have some ink in here. We're going to get to this part pretty shortly, but let's take out this printer. So we would have taken our printer out of the box. It looks really nice, to be honest with you. It looks really, really nice. And you can see the blue protective tape in different areas. We'll get right into that. But we're going to start off by taking a look and see what we have in this box. So we're just going to shift around the printer. We're going to start with this box here. We're going to see what goodies we have in here. Okay, so we have some ink. And we have a power card. So we have our power card, and then we have our Epson ink, as you can see right here. So remember, this is a sublimation printer, so you don't need to do any converting. So this is pretty straightforward. Now we are going to get into removing the tape. We are going to install our inks. We're going to plug in our printer. We're going to set it up. We're going to have some fun, and let's get started. So our next step now would be to basically take off all of the blue protective tape. This blue protective tape keeps certain parts in place, so when the printer is shipping and is moving around, no parts wouldn't be damaged. So we're going to take a look at removing these tapes. We're going to install the software. We're going to actually print on this. We're going to review it. We're going to have some fun, and also we're going to follow the instructions. Instructions are very, very important. So we're going to follow the instructions here and get this baby up and running. So we're going to start off by taking off the tape, and as you guys know, I love to give you as much detail and much information as possible, so it will help you. So stick with me, stay tuned right down to the end of the video, and if you're getting value thus far, make sure to smash that like button down below for me, please. So I'm going to be giving you as much detail as possible, showing you inside of the printer. When you lift the lid, I want you to be able to see every single thing. So we're going to turn it to the side. We have some tape here to the side, and we will have to lift this area. So I'm going to show you there's actually an area you can actually put your fingers under here and lift open. Another amazing thing about it is when you lift open, if you realize it would start dropping, you can actually lift and just snap it back a little bit, and once it snaps back, then it will automatically stay open on its own. You're going to take out all of the blue tape. So wherever you see blue tape, you want to make sure that you take it out. And let me show you how inside of this printer actually looks. Brand new. This is how inside of here actually looks. And this is our section here we'll be dealing with shortly when it comes to installing the ink. Alright, let us continue removing the tape. So we have this blue tape here. What we're going to do is actually pull out this tray, and we're going to remove this tape. I'm going to turn it to the back, and we want to see we have some tape here. Now that we have all of our tape removed, now I want to just take this chance to show you some of the different compartments and some of the different sections on this printer. So first you have your power source, which everyone would know. We're going to skip this and come back to this shortly. But we have here at the corner, we have the maintenance tank in here. So you just unscrew and you pull off the lever gently, and then you have your maintenance tank right here. So you just pull it out and it comes right out. And this here is the maintenance tank. Okay, so we're going to just install that back in there, and we're going to cover back over this area. Okay, so we also have this section here at the back, and this section is really important. You can actually place two fingers, push in, and remove this area. Now this is really important. Let's talk about this a little bit. Now some persons may not know, but sometimes you may end up in a situation where you get paper stuck within the printer. You don't want to pull the paper from the front of the printer. You want to remove this compartment from the back of the printer, and then you want to take a closer look inside and be able to remove any bits of paper or any paper that has been stuck. So this is a great advantage for you, or if you need to clean anything within your printer, if there's any dust, anything you want to do, you're able to look in there and actually see what is going on. So I totally love this. And most printers have a section or a compartment that you can actually undo and remove any excesses or any extra any extra paper that have been stuck in the printer. So we're here to the front now, and we're going to remove this from our LCD screen, and we have our tray where we will place our paper. We're going to place some plain A4 or 8.5 by 11 paper to do our collaborations and set up the printer. We have this area here also. So now that we would have basically removed all the blue tape, I would have shown you the different compartments that this printer has. We're going to look to install the ink. As remember before, we are following the instructions. We're going step by step. There's no rush, and we want to install our ink right now. So we're about to actually install our ink, and following the instructions, it would have asked us to just gently shake up the ink for about 15 times, and you want to make sure you follow the instructions right to the T. Okay, and then we're going to install these inks one by one. So we're going to start off with the black, and something that's very important here that I want to show you, and I'm going to make sure to adjust the camera so you can see this clearly. I want you to take a closer look at the top of the bottle. You can see it has its own little pattern here. You want to make sure that this pattern lines up with this pattern here when you are installing your inks. So for example, we're going to take the black ink, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn it in one motion, make sure it clips in, and allow it to do its work. Do not squeeze the bottle, just allow it to automatically do its work. So from the time you turn over your ink bottle and you align it in the correct slot, it will automatically start loading, and your tank will start to be filled with the ink. So we're starting off with our black, and then we're going to go to the other colors. So all of our inks are installed. So we're going to close each of these small lids here. Make sure it's locked and sealed correctly. And then we're going to close this overall lid. So remember we spoke earlier about shaking those inks about 15 times. You can also see right here it's telling you exactly what to do. And what is so amazing is that although these tanks are filled with ink, remember this is sublimation ink here, these bottles still have in about half bottle of ink is still left in the yellow, the cayenne and magenta, but the black is more lower than the others, because obviously we can see the black tank is much bigger than the others. So a great thing is that we still have some leftover ink for when you're printing, and you can always top back up with some more ink. Now we're going to close down our lid, and we're going to start looking at turning on this printer by installing the power card, and we're going to actually set it up and get proceeding forward. So we're going to plug in our printer to our power outlet, which is pretty easy to do. Remember, we have the power source to be plugging at the back, so make sure you plug that in. And I'm going to plug it into my power source. And once you have plugged in your printer, you want to actually turn it on. So we're going to turn it on. Now once you have turned on your printer, and I'm just going to adjust the camera once again, we're going to take a closer look at the LCD screen and see the options that they are giving us. We can clearly see first that they are asking us for the language, so we can choose. And I'm going to select on English, so I'm going to press OK. As you can see here, it's saying that it is processing. So we're going to give it some time to actually do its processing. You can clearly see on the screen now it is saying see the start here sheet to complete initialization. So we're going to proceed forward by clicking on the question mark just for about 5 seconds. Once we do this, it will give us some more information. And I'm going to zoom in once again, take you closer in. And as you can see the different steps, we're going to go through these here pretty fast, but you'll be able to understand. Confirm tanks are filled. We are going to click on done because we have done selected that. So you're going to click on OK. And you can see that the process is going to start, and it's going to take about 14 minutes. So it's telling us right now that our process has been completed, and it says move on to print quality adjustment. So we have to click on OK. Now it's giving us the option to align the printer to get the best print quality, and I highly recommend that you go ahead and make those adjustments, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make those adjustments. Now we have to perform a print head nozzle check to check the quality of the print. So I'm going to open our tray, and I'm going to load some paper into it. And we are going to see how this process runs. So here we did our print nozzle check, and as you can see, it came out really clean and clear. There are no broken lines, everything is perfect. So we're going to select the option on the screen which shows solid lines, and we are good to go. So at this point right now, we are setting up our alignments, and it is saying on the screen, choose the square with the fewest streaks. So what I'm going to do is to bring the camera as close as possible. I'm going to try to adjust it with enough lighting so we can see which one has streaks and which one doesn't have streaks. If we take a closer look, we can see number 1 has streaks and lines, number 2 has lines, number 3 has lines, number 4 has lines, number 5, basically all of them have lines, but the one that have the least lines is number 5. So what we're going to do is to go over to our printer, and we are going to click on number 5. Alright, now we have to load some paper which we have in there ready, and we are going to align the pattern. So our second section now is to actually choose the rectangles that are not separated or overlap. So we're going to go back here to our screen. Hopefully you can see it clearly. I'm going to bring it in as close as possible so you can see. Number 1, we can see some overlines. Number 2, we can see some lines. Number 3, number 4, number 5 has lines. Number 6 looks pretty okay to me, and number 7, number 8 and 9 has spaces. So in my estimation, hopefully you can see it on the camera properly, I am going to go with number 6. So I'm just going to click on the plus icon to get number 6 and click on OK to proceed. Now that we have done those two processes, it says print head alignment completed. You can adjust alignment from maintenance section. So basically we're going to click on OK, and our printer has been set up. Now just a few other tips, a few other features just so you can take a closer look. If you're interested in setting up, which you should set up your printer with your Wi-Fi, you have the options here on the screen. You can click on Wi-Fi, you can select the Wi-Fi option, click on OK, and it will recommend you to select your Wi-Fi, or you can do Wi-Fi direct. Okay, you can choose Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi direct. I'm going to choose the Wi-Fi option, and it is going to start the setup process. And I'm going to set up the Wi-Fi wizard. So it's going to be searching for my Wi-Fi network where I will put in my password, and then this printer will be connected to the Wi-Fi. Okay, we're going to get into installing the program on the computer, and then we're going to have some fun by printing out at least 2 or so designs and printing it on so we can see the quality of this printer. So stay tuned with me, and if you're getting value, smash that like button down below. Leave a comment and tell me what you're thinking about this process and this printer so far. Do you have one of these printers and do you like it? Let me know down in the comment section. One thing to note that is very important: after you have completed your print nozzle check and your different alignments, you will realize that your ink would have reduced. What you could do is the leftover ink that you still have, you can then go ahead, open up the lid, and you can top back up on that extra ink that has been left over. So you can just top back up and allow whatever leftover ink to top back up your tanks so they can be filled. In order to find your drivers or to download the software or the package, you need to go to epson.com, and what you can do is go over to support and click on printers, and you can type in your printer within the search bar. So I'm going to type in SureColor F170, and once I type it in, it is going to bring up the exact printer that we have. Now you have the system that I'm operating is Mac, which is an Apple, and we have drivers and we have utilities. With drivers, you will get the drivers and utilities combo package installer and the print driver, and with utilities you can get the Epson software updater. For this one, I'm just going to download the drivers and utilities combo package installer. And once you download this to your computer, you want to make sure to install it to the computer. Once you have installed it to the computer and you go through each stage and each process, you should be ready and set up to print and do your designing. So we're here in the Silhouette Studio program, and we are now about to have some fun. And what we are about to do is to test the quality of the printer. We need to test this quality and see what kind of quality is producing. So I'm going to use my personal logo here and these two Father's Day designs. My personal logo, I'm going to be sublimating it onto a coaster, a hard coaster. And these two Father's Day designs will be going onto metal name tag cards. So I'm going to flip these images here horizontally or mirror them, and I'm going to go over to file and print, and I'm going to show you we are going to be using a sub paper. I'm going to show you the type of paper we will be using. I'm also going to show you the coaster and the metal name cards that I'll also be using. We're going to go over to print, and we are going to look for our Epson printer. Once we have it here, I'm going to go over to print settings, and you're going to see medium type as DS transfer multi-use rig. We're going to go to print quality and set it to fine, and then we're going to print. So let's head over to the print now, load our paper, and see the quality. So as we can see, our printer has printed out our 3 images here, and to me this quality looks really nice. It looks really nice. Now we're going to put it to the test. So as mentioned before, I'm going to be using some aluminum metal business cards, and one of these coasters here, where you can get from Amazon. I'm going to link everything down in the description for you. We're going to be using some heat tape, heat resistant tape, so we can keep down these. And one thing to note is whenever you are sublimating onto a particular sublimation product, most of them would have like a protective film over it. So make sure to always take off that protecting film before you actually get on to sublimating. So for example, we have our coaster here. The first thing you would want to do is to take off that protective film off of it. So I'm going to peel this protective film off, and then I will be able to sublimate onto this. Now that we have our design mounted on or placed over our coaster, what I'm gonna do is to place some paper down on my heat press. Then I'm going to place the coaster with the image down, and then I'm going to place another sheet of paper over this. I'm going to be using a medium pressure. I'm going to be using about 380 Fahrenheit at 60 seconds. And we're going to just see how this works. So at this temperature, I normally use 400 Fahrenheit, but we're going to try 380 Fahrenheit at 60 seconds. And we're going to see the outcome when it is completed. So our design, our print is completed, and I would highly recommend getting gloves. I'm not using gloves, but I should probably get my gloves because this is really hot. But we're going to move forward, and I'm going to remove this heating tape here. And we're going to take a look at the quality. Wow. Wow. Now take a look at this. Now you can see some residue on it. You can actually see some residue on it right now. And what I'm going to do is to get a cloth, and I'm going to wipe off that residue. That's so we can actually see the real outcome and the real quality. But so far this is looking good. So I'm going to get a cloth. I'm going to wipe off this residue from off of it so we can actually see the quality. Alright, so we're going to start off with our coaster here, and as mentioned before earlier, you can see that there's some white residue on that from the paper. So what I'm going to do is to actually take this damp cloth here and just wipe off that white residue from it and allow it to dry. So while this is drying, we can remove the paper from our business cards here that we did a Father's Day design on. And you can see how it came out. Happy Father's Day. And as you can see, majority of the ink came out onto the card. Now this is silver. This is silver, so it may not give you the effect that you're looking for, but the effect was to get this area here. So let's take a closer look back at our coaster. So after carefully cleaning off our coaster, you can see that we have some quality here, and the lighting is pretty okay. You can see the colors are, these colors are really popping. I like it. I think these colors are really nice. And we have the back of it is just some, this is hardboard, right? So all in all, what do I think about this printer? After we have unboxed it, we have set it up, we have installed the program, we have went ahead, did a print, and now the review. So what do I really think about this printer? Firstly, I want you to tell me down in the comment section, what do you think about the SureColor F170 printer? And I'll be honest with you, I think that this printer is a very lovely printer. I think the only downfall on it so far on using it and test printing is that you can only print like maybe up to 8.5 in width paper, but you know, larger formats is something that I really love, like going like 11 by 17 or 13 by 19. So I think that is the downfall when it comes to this smaller printer here. However, a great advantage is that this is an actual sublimation printer, so you didn't have to convert it. You would have seen the quality here on the coaster and also on the business card I would have done. So I really think that this printer here is going to do the job for the person when they're ready to use it. What do you think? What are your comments about the Epson SureColor F170? I really think this printer is a top of the line printer here. And I think Epson is doing an awesome and fantastic job in bringing out printers like these so that it can serve persons. And of course, we have the eco tank. And having the eco tank is a thing in these days where you get away from those old inks and you can just top back up with your bottle inks. So I want to thank everyone for watching. If you got value from this video, if you got some kind of information, if you learned something, you can let me know in the comment section. I want to thank you for watching, and remember, we make your prints and fashions come alive.